Ever feel like there's gotta be more to life? You've probably heard the buzz around this idea of manifestation. But what if you could actually turn your thoughts into your reality? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how it works, using insights straight from our source material. It's a pretty powerful idea, right? The thought that you can attract what you want into your life simply by changing what's going on in your own mind. So, if you're ready, let's dive in. All right, so let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is manifestation? Beyond all the buzzwords and the hype, let's get to the real core of this popular and honestly often misunderstood idea. At its heart, manifestation is all about turning what's inside into what's outside. It's about taking a goal, a dream, or even just a simple desire that's in your mind and bringing it to life right here in your physical world. Now, this isn't just wishful thinking. The whole thing is grounded in a concept called the law of attraction, which is really one of the foundational ideas for how all of this works. This quote from Rhonda Byrne just nails it. The idea is that your external world is basically a mirror of your internal one. Think of your thoughts as the blueprint, and your life is the building that gets constructed from that exact blueprint. And I love this analogy from Shannon Kaiser. Just imagine yourself as a human magnet. The thoughts you hold on to consistently are what you will inevitably and powerfully draw towards you, whether you're even aware of it or not. So the most crucial point, the one thing to really let sink in, is the simple but totally profound statement. The thoughts you plant and grow in your mind have the very real potential to become the tangible things in your life. So if our thoughts are the building blocks, then our mindset, well, that's the engine driving the entire process. Let's dig into how the way we think fundamentally shapes the reality we experience every single day. Okay, think back to that magnet analogy for a second. The polarity of your mindset is everything. A negative mindset, one that's always focused on scarcity, on what's missing, on what could go wrong, is going to attract more of that same negative energy. But on the flip side, a positive mindset, one that's rooted in gratitude and abundance, becomes a magnet for positive outcomes. It's that simple. Okay, so we get the what and we get the why. Now for the most important part, the how. Here is a practical 6-step guide to actually putting all of this into action. This 6-step process is your roadmap. It all starts with a crystal clear intention. You have to know exactly what you want, but it is not passive. You have to take real-world action. And all along the way, gratitude is your fuel, and letting go of fear and doubt is absolutely essential. You also have to lift your vibration, which really just means aligning your emotional state with the outcome you want. And finally, number 6, you have to trust the process completely. Now, to help with that process, there are some really specific tools you can start using, like today. So let's look at some of the most effective techniques out there. The most important thing to remember here is that this is not a rigid one-size-fits-all formula. The best technique is the one that really resonates with you. So whether that's writing it all down, speaking it out loud, or creating a visual, the key is to choose the tool that feels the most real and authentic to you. Let's look at a real example of that first technique, the future day story. This is the beginning of a story that the author of our source material wrote for herself, describing a perfect day 3 years into her future. She wrote it down in vivid detail, recorded herself reading it with passion, and then listened to it daily. And here's the payoff. That story she wrote, it's now her life. She is, right now, living that exact reality, having her coffee every morning on her patio in Curacao, listening to the birds sing. I mean, what a powerful testament to this technique. Now, I know some of you might be thinking this all sounds a little woo-woo. And you know what? The author admits they were a super analytical and critical thinker too. So let's tackle some of those common misconceptions and look at one more piece of proof. This is so crucial to understand. It's not just about thinking and receiving. Action and patience are non-negotiable. And here's the other thing. Sometimes what shows up isn't exactly what you pictured. It's often something far better than you could have ever imagined for yourself. Okay, let me share one more incredible story from the source material. The author was an expat in Curacao and was under immense pressure to get a government document she needed for her renewal application. Time was running out, and seriously, the odds were stacked against her. So, with the clock ticking and absolutely no confirmation that the document was even ready, what did she do? On the drive to the government office, she started speaking her intention into existence, repeating it out loud over and over and over again. And this, right here, This is the key. It wasn't just about saying the words. She generated the feeling of success. By the time she walked into that building, she was just overflowing with positive, confident energy. She had completely convinced herself it was already a done deal. And guess what? She walked in, told the clerk she was there to pick up her document, and it was ready, just sitting there waiting for her, against all odds. That is the power of combining clear intention with elevated emotion. So let's just distill all of this down to the key takeaways. First, it's about your mindset and your emotion. You have to truly believe in the future you want. You got to let go of the beliefs that hold you back, and you need to live in a state of gratitude. And second, it's about practice. Be consistent and use all 5 of your senses to make your vision feel as real as possible, right here, right now. That's where the real power is. The source material has shown us the principles, the process, and the proof. The power is now in your hands. So the only real question left is, what future will you start writing for yourself today?